Howdy. We want to take a little time here at Timothy Creek and explain to you why we made the Spin-N-Strut the way we made it. You see most turkey decoys on the market today, they're in a strutting position. We've made it. Jeff, jump in anytime you want to. We made this thing so that it would move and act like a turkey. And Jeff, how often do you call when we're out hunting?
Well, normally we only call enough to get the attention of the turkey, and once the turkey spotted the decoy, we don't call anymore. That's it.
And that usually works pretty well because once they use their eyesight so much.
Right. You know, that's why this thing works so well. They can spot this decoy from 200-300 yards across the field, and they'll spot that movement real easy. And once they see the decoy, there's no reason to call it. It's unnatural to continue to call.
Now, Scott, we were in a hunt where we had the decoy set up in a full strut position, and in that full strut position, what happened?
Birds hung up. They would not come in. We called, and it would not come in.
And they wouldn't come in because
this is what you have. You have this versus this.
A decoy that's moving in a natural motion, right?
Which even our decoy will go in. You know, you can set our decoy up just like everybody else's is.
Our decoy moves and acts like a real turkey.
Exactly.
And that's why the turkeys commit to it.
And you know, I've noticed that just like a deer, if you see any wild species in the woods, typically they're locked up when something's kind of spooking them, right?
Oh, that's an alarm position.
It's an alarm position.
That's right.
Now, if you've got a decoy that's sitting out here like this,
with a hen,
putting a hen out there, perfect, and it comes up and it does this. You know, the one other thing that I noticed, Jeff, is that when we drop this tail, what happens?
Well, quite often that's when the turkey will come into the
They start running, don't they?
Right. You're backing down. You're showing a subordinate posture.
Exactly.
And they come right into it.
As soon as they see that tail go down, typically we see the same kind of thing. Now, I was out hunting with some guys down in Alabama, and that turkey come running in like that. And Jeff Steele, on our hunting staff, we had that turkey, and it ran all the way in. And when it got all the way in, it thumped that decoy. And it was so fixed on the movement of that decoy that Jeff even says, hey man, I got up and I moved so that I could get a better position, which is a no-no, right? I mean, isn't it?
No. Turkey hunt, that's a no-no.
That's a no-no. I mean, you move, you're busted. I mean,
well, we've got a couple hunts on video that Scott, he was setting, 8 feet away from the decoy? And both times the birds come right into the decoy. Never did spot them.
And you were sitting
because they were fixed on the decoy.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just like it was just Scott all camouflaged.
Right. They get so fixed on that decoy that it's like they're oblivious to anything else.
Right. And we were running and gunning on them birds, so you know when you get to that area, I mean, we just leaned against the trees and whatever cover there was there is how we set up.
We didn't have time to rig up a blind or any cover. You know, we just hurry up and get in there and set the decoy up and get going.
So the main reason we've done this and you made this decoy the way it's set up is because it moves and acts like a real turkey.
Right. And
we utilize its eyesight, and we utilize the feature that a dominant tom typically wants to see is, hey, that bird just dropped its that subordinate Jake, which we've made this decoy to be. A subordinate Jake has just dropped its tail. I'm going to chase him out of the field and away from that hen, and I'm going to tend her for myself.
You know, that's a good point. We downsized the decoy purposely not to intimidate any birds. We have Jakes come into it, 2-year-old birds, and of course the big dominant toms, without hesitation. And by being able to drop the tail, you're showing a subordinate posture. You're backing down from them, you know, coming towards you.
Exactly.
And it just triggers them. It's just like a trigger to them. When they see that tail drop,
here they come.
That's when they come in.
Right.
And you know, this works real good for bow hunting.
Oh,
I mean,
because what they do is that birds will actually, if this was the real bird, usually they end up about right here. His eyesight is fixed on the decoy's eyesight, which gives you plenty, you know, sooner or later he's going to turn his back to you
you can draw.
And then you can draw.
And that's it. You know, I mean, that tom that comes into the decoy is typically looking for some motion when you have a fixed decoy.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start seeing another bird, which he believes is live because of the motion, then you've got an opportunity to make that draw and take that bird with archery equipment, which is really an exciting hunt.
I think just watching the videos, you see about any bird that ever comes in a decoy, you get multiple opportunities to
Absolutely.
shoot at that bird. They're there for, I mean, we've cut a lot of film out on some of these. They're there at the decoy for
That's
5
true.
or 10 minutes.
Oh,
you know?
sometimes even more.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we're kind of, I know that you're going to look at some of these videos and probably have and go, shoot, 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 because we're setting to try to capture some footage. But they'll stick around just because of they know that or they think that decoy is a live bird.
Yeah.
All right, we'd like to take just another minute here and recap some of the things that we've done that works real well for us. One of the things that we make sure we do is we only call until the turkey becomes visual to our decoy. Once that turkey sees the Spin-N-Strut, we quit calling and allow the motion of the Spin-N-Strut to take over. Now, we've had some situations where the birds have been a long ways off, and I mean a couple 100 yards.
300 sometimes.
In some cases, at least that far. And Jeff, what have we done then? I mean,
Well, normally what we do once we've made contact, or we can see the bird, we take the decoy and we move it into a full strut position. And I'll let it sit there for, a little bit and watch the reaction of the bird. If he goes into full strut, you've just made contact with him.
Exactly.
Drop the tail of the decoy. Now you're starting to show some subordinates to him. And watch his reaction. He's going to stand there and he's going to stretch his neck up and he's going to watch. And when he goes back into full strut, you've made visual contact with him now.
One of the other things that works pretty well too is a little bit of motion. If they're that far, 300 yards is a long ways.
Yeah.
And if they're that far, sometimes we need to coax them a little bit more. And so you do a little bit of body motion. And the nice thing about that is that decoy will move, and we don't even have to bring up the tail.
Right.
But
Sometimes you don't need to bring up the tail because they're already coming in.
Yeah. But when we found a couple other things that we found works real well is this half strut.
That's right. If that bird's coming in and he's a little bit hesitant and possibly hanging up, which we have very few hang-ups, we'll just bring the decoy around and only half strut it.
And that's a subordinate position.
That's exactly what it is. You're just showing your subordinates by half strutting.
Yeah. Well, good. And Scotty, do you got anything else that you want to add to that?
Yeah. When you get the birds in, pull the trigger and don't miss.
We don't miss, do we, Jeff?
Jeff don't miss.
Well, guys, enjoy the Spin-N-Strut. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Give us a call, send us an email, and we'll put you on our website.
Happy hunting.
Thank you much.
See you guys later.